Pasadena Police Department. Doherty, may I help you? Yes, it is. May I help you?
3B23 bus.
All right, ma'am. I'll have somebody up there right away.
5831, 5831, PC211, just occurred, 175 Oakhurst, one male, no further.
Incidents like this are commonplace.
Did you see what happened?
Just saw her laying here.
How about you? Did you hear anything?
Yes, I did. Well, first I heard a scream.
Crime on the streets has become a fact of life. Sooner or later, you or someone you know will be a victim. It's just a question of time, a question of where, when, and why. Unfortunately, the police are usually called after the crime, after the damage is done. What can be done before that point in time? What can you, the potential victim, do?
Well, in our city, we have a little over 200 officers and a population of approximately 125,000, and it's impossible to police the entire city with this amount of men. But if we have the entire populace backing us up, and if we go into a community and that community says to our officers, what do you want, what do you need, how can we help, and we can do our job a little better.
First, think ahead. Learn how to prevent crime and what to do if it does occur. Be suspicious. Call your local law enforcement agency if you see strangers loitering. Call if you see or hear any indication of someone in trouble.
It's going on every day that you are not aware of. Be aware that these things are taking place and that you could very well become a victim.
By our own behavior, we often encourage criminals and set ourselves up as victims. An untended purse is a tempting invitation. Easy access to valuables attracts thieves.
Hey!
People who steal for a living like the odds on their side. They're always looking for the easy mark. These victims could have had the odds in their favor and prevented their losses. Take it with you. Your purse is safer if it's out of sight or firmly held. Keep your wallet in a buttoned back pocket or up front.
Good morning.
How are you?
This morning.
Cash up for me, would you please?
All right. How would you like it?
20 to go.
All right. 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. 20, 40, 60, 80, 200. There you go.
Okay.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Carrying large amounts of cash is like advertising for a thief.
Keep cool and don't turn around. Now give me your money.
All I got's a couple of bucks, buddy.
Put your hand in your right-hand pocket and give me your money. Keep cool and don't turn around. Now give me your money.
All I got's a couple of bucks, Betty.
Put your hand in your right-hand pocket and give me your money.
If you do find yourself in a situation like this, give the thief what he wants. Don't jeopardize your safety for your money.
I count to 50 before you turn around. Count.
1, 2.
Excuse me. I better put this in my checking account.
All right.
Keeping your car locked while driving will prevent this frequent type of crime.
Stop him! He's got my purse!
Hey, would you like to sit down?
Hi. Sure.
My name's Jerry.
I'm Sue.
Could I buy you a drink?
Mm-hmm.
What do you have?
I'll have a margarita.
Out of sight. Hey, bartender, can I have a margarita and another scotch? All right. Hey, could I have a dance?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Well, good night. And thank you for a nice evening. Please.
Come on, lady, don't play games with me.
Will you stop it? Leave me alone.
Oh, you want to play hard to get, huh? Okay.
Okay. After you were both inside, tell me what happened.
He slammed the door, and then he slapped me around, and he just started hitting me.
We all need friends, but don't be foolish. Exchange phone numbers, not addresses. Arrange your next meeting in a safe public place.
Hit me and I fell on the floor.
Hi.
How far are you going?
All the way to the beach.
Sharing rides with friends is fine, but strangers can be dangerous.
I turned at the next corner. I'll let you off here.
I'll tell you when to turn, pal. Just keep driving.
Oh, wow. Hey, you gotta be kidding, kid.
Just try me, buddy, and you're dead. Now give me your wallet and your watch and get out. Come on, you want trouble? All right, out.
Remember, appearances can be deceiving. Criminals don't always look like criminals. For the driver or the hitchhiker, a lift can be the beginning of a nightmare.
Let's go.
Hi. Come on in.
How far are you going?
All the way to the city.
Oh, that's great.
I always stop off here for a swim. You guys don't mind, do you?
No.
Let's go swimming.
What?
What's with you?
Buddy,
You gotta share things. Take it easy.
Take it easy.
Lou!
Yeah.
Let him go!
What's going on?
You find out. Okay.
People today have good cause to be frightened, but guns are rarely the answer.
Here you are, sir. This is 38 Police Special.
Many people who do buy guns never really learn how to handle them.
Thank you. You mustn't ever point a weapon.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
If you're going to point it, you have to point it down at the floor or at the ceiling.
Right, I'm sorry.
And it's a good idea to check it out.
And how do you do that? How did you do it?
Push in here and push out there.
I see.
All right?
Right, always.
Push in there and out there. That's it.
Very good. Nice instrument. I'll take it.
Carrying a concealed weapon is against the law without a special license, which is rarely granted. And of course, a gun can always be used against you.
The thing is, again, is that the more you train, the more proficient you are to be able to handle certain situations on the street. But that does not mean that every situation you're going to be able to handle yourself, but you have a better chance at it. Every lesson you take gives you a better chance of handling a situation on the street, and believe me, it's a necessity nowadays to have a means of self-defense.
Never assume that it can't happen to you. Use your head. Keep out of dangerous places and dangerous situations.
All right, give it up. Let's have it. Turn it loose. Thank you.
All right, let's have the watch.
Chuck, what would you do if you were surrounded by, say, 6 or 8 guys, and they said, give us your money or else?
Well, I give my money, and that's not enough, I'll write them a check.
You can help prevent crime. Get to know your neighbors. Involve yourself with community action groups. Meet the people who police your area.
That's it, step on through, shoot that right hand in there. Now the left hand. Right hand.
Self-defense instruction can be useful, but experts try to avoid danger.
And it's a good idea to check it out and make sure
A gun is dangerous,
push in here.
often for the man who carries one.
Even though I've just done it.
Right. Let's see. That's where one places the bullets.
Right.
Good. Well, that looks like a fine instrument.
Don't make it easy for the thief. Keep your money and valuables out of easy reach.
80, 100, 20,
Don't carry large sums of money. But if you do, don't try to protect your money with your life.
Excuse me, I better put this in my checking account.
Lock your car at all times. When you're driving and when you're parked. Be cautious with new friends. Think twice about hitchhiking. It may not be the smart thing to do. Remember, a criminal may not look like a criminal.
Will you wait until I get in the house?
Oh, sure.
Prevent crime. Always be aware of its potential presence. Learn what to do about it and how to avoid it. You don't have to be a victim.
Hello everybody, welcome, I'm Skip Alzheimer, and welcome to our AV Geeks Lunchtime streaming show. It's great, seems like we have a little Marvin Miller narrator fan club. People are able to identify his voice. He did the narration for Crime on the Streets that we just saw, and he's done a couple of other films that we've shown, including Short Order Cookery. I don't remember if he did Mr. Dish Machine Operator or not. I should look and see if I've actually shown that film. If not, we should bust that out. But he shows up pretty occasionally, and he has a very distinctive voice. Anyways, so we show old 16mm films to delight and horror of our audiences, and I've been doing this for nearly 30 years. We're coming up, it's probably like at 28 years right now. So, you do something for that long, I don't know, are you a professional? I'm not sure. I've made some money doing it. Is that what the qualification is? Anyways, so one of the reasons I showed that film, it was a little rapey, and 70s rapey. But I get a lot of people requesting that for stock footage, especially the woman walking to her car. Man, that clip has sold many times for various serial killer documentaries, etc. So if it looked familiar and you tend to watch true crime stuff, that's probably what that's from. I have another film that also has that, and so I wouldn't be surprised if you saw it. Anyways, yeah, Chuck Norris, by the way. He was in that film. I forgot. I totally forgot that Chuck Norris is in there. Okay, so anyways, we show old 16mm films. Some are from files that we've already digitized the films, and sometimes we watch it from the telecine that we have, which allows us to transfer films that we haven't done yet and show stuff that we haven't shown yet. And this film is something that was donated to me by the person who's actually in the film. His name is Ed Gogol, and let's all Google Gogol. I think it's Gogol, and this is his appearance on the Dick Cavett Show. And let's see what he's going to talk about.
This is something I've always wanted to know. A gentleman is going to show us how to make wine. And he should know about it because he works for Mogan David and is their winemaker. And they make, I wrote it down here, 8 million gallons a year. We welcome this gentleman. His name is Ed Gogol. Did you say Gogol? Now, I guess the thing to do is just ask you, where do you begin?
Well, first of all, we're going to try to demonstrate how the grapes are turned into grape juice. We cannot make wine on the stage at the present time because it would take, 2 to 6 weeks. But, first of all, we're going to convert
Let's do it anyway.
It would be interesting.
Yeah.
We're going to crush some grapes. Now, may I ask you to go around the side of the crusher?
I feel like I'm part of a magic act. Yeah.
This is a crusher. Now, there are roller crushers that actually rupture the grape skins. Now, as I put the grapes in...
Did you watch your language?
These are nice, large grapes. Now, there is a little film contained on these grapes. This film is yeast cells.
Is what?
Yeast cells. Those are little yeast cells all the way around.
Oh, yeast cells.
Yeast.
Oh, I see. I thought you were saying one word there. Yeah. You mean that stuff that you try to wash off grapes? It looks like dust.
Exactly right. Now, if you let these sit long enough, and they would ferment naturally, converting into wine, if the sugar content is high enough in these grapes.
If you just let grapes sit.
Exactly right. They may mold prior to that time, but... All right, now, what we do is we drop them in, and what I would request you do is turn the crank nice and easy.
Yeah. You warned me now that they sometimes spit at you.
A little bit. I'll hold my hand down so we don't get too wet.
Okay.
There we go.
Got his finger right in there.
That's what happens.
Isn't this kind of primitive? How do you turn out all that Mogan David with this?
Well, they're a little more automated than this.
Oh, I was going to say.
This goes back to the days of the old winemaking. All right. We demonstrated that we can stem and crush grapes. Now, our next... You can see them down.
Oh, there they are.
Yeah, there they are. Here, let's pull them out and see what they look like if we possibly can.
Don't give me a hand there.
There they are.
Why,
all
it's
mashed up.
Tasty as looking as it can be.
I don't believe so.
It looks very... Yeah.
All right, now, the next thing, we are going to try and extract the juice from these particular grapes. Now, there are a number of methods used. The old method used by some of the home winemakers was to dump a bunch of grapes into a little porcelain pot or a crock like your mother used to make pickles in. Then we take this and we pull it up and we hold it up, and I would like you to squeeze it.
I bet you would.
It was very easy.
You mean?
Just
squeeze
it.
It's amazing. You squeeze it and the juice comes out.
Let's see if we can taste some of this. Can you give us a little squeeze? And now...
Who washed those grapes?
No one did.
How about if you taste it? Oh, yeah, that's pure grape juice then.
Pure grape.
Let me see. You know, it's very good. I mean, it's almost worth going to all that trouble just to get that kind of grape juice.
Well,
but that's nowhere near wine yet.
No. Actually, we have to check the sugar content on that to see if it's 22%. If it is 22%, we'll develop 12.5% alcohol.
Some wines have more alcohol in them.
Anything over about 12% alcohol has been added, such as your port, sherries, and muscatel.
Yeah.
They are fortified.
What do you mean by fortified?
Yes.
Yeah.
So a natural wine is a wine that contains 12%, 12, 12.5, or 11 or 11.5.
How do we check the sugar now?
First of all, we have to go to the other method of crushing grapes. Now, we're going to use a basket press, and would you please get around to this particular side?
Yeah.
All right, now I have this lined with screening.
Like on your window.
All right. We will take and dump some of these grapes directly in between the screening.
Should have worn my smock. Okay. How's this going to...
There.
This doesn't have enough...
No, now wait. First of all, we'll fold in all of the plastic screening.
All right.
Then we have a little cover that slips right in there.
Oh, I see.
There. Now, let's turn this down.
Where do you get these
right
things?
now, we should see grape juice running out the front of this press. If all is set well,
We do see it. Yeah.
Here we go.
Where do you get these things? That'd be fun to
They
get.
are antiques. They're very difficult to obtain. Not too fast. We do not want to have you covered with grape juice.
Oh, we don't.
You have to
No,
do
we
it
certainly-
very, very carefully, very slowly.
I see.
Here we go. All right, now, see if we can collect enough to check the sugar content of it.
Okay.
Go around this side.
I just got
Would you be the guest?
Yeah, I don't...
Fill it up about half full.
How do I fill it?
Just, well, here, let's move this away.
Okay.
There we go.
How am I going to fill it?
Here, let's hold the funnel. Go right around here, a little. There we are.
This is the way Grandma used to make wine. Oh, sorry, I'm such a fool. What did I do? Ruin the whole thing?
No, you just poured in a little too much.
That's all you got to do is pour some out.
Still less. Right about there. All right, now the next thing we're going to do, we're going to check the sugar content to see if we have enough sugar to develop 12.5% alcohol.
Right.
Now we use a little thing called a Belling or Brix hydrometer, which actually measures specific gravity. It's graduated from 0 to 30. Now, if I am right, this should read between 20 and 22.
All right, we'll take odds. What's it?
We don't have enough grape juice.
You're kidding. See, I was right.
You were. I have to admit that. Just a little bit more.
I bet you didn't know I'd have such an instinct for this. Now it's rising in there. Oh, I see it. Right.
And we read the scale, and actually it's a little light. It's about 18%.
Yeah.
So, to briefly explain the great difference between California and New York State, the grapes in California have a very high sugar content and a very low acid. The grapes on the eastern part of the United States have a relatively low sugar content and high acidity.
Probably has to do with pollution or something.
They are the native grapes of the United States.
Yeah.
Your Concords, Delawares.
And I've heard that a lot of California and domestic wines are as good as a lot of as the foreign wines now.
Well, I would say that American viticulture is at reaching a point where it is just as good, if not better, in a lot of cases than your European.
We're only halfway. How far are we through this now?
Well, we're through with
we
this
did
particular
that.
portion.
Yeah.
Now, actually, here we would have to adjust this, what's pure sugar, up to 22%.
By adding sugar.
By adding sugar. Now, this is what is done normally in the New York wines.
When we come back from this message, we're going to taste something, I believe.
Yes, we are.
Oh, good. Okay, we'll be back. Mr. Gogol, we're about to taste something.
Yes. First of all, let me demonstrate very briefly how wines are tasted by winemakers. The glass is always held by the stem or by the base. The reason for this is so that you can observe the beautiful color that nature has given us.
And the fact that the glass is a little dusty.
Exactly right. You smell the aroma, and then you sip it. Now,
why do they sniff the cork when they open a wine for you in a restaurant?
that's to see, really, if the cork is dry, and see if there are any off odors attributed to the wine from the cork. A lot of times, some of your corks will be moldy.
I see.
Now, in our tasting, we're going to start with a dry, white wine. Here, would you like to smell the cork?
Oh, it's a gas. Smells all right to me.
Now, this is an extremely dry wine.
I'll be crocked, you know, if I...
No. Let me demonstrate one other thing, that is, as far as tasting. Now, the wine glass should always be filled slightly. You swirl it around to see the body. That's the body of the wine.
You may see a body, but I don't see one. Maybe I'm swirling wrong. Are we gonna...
Sniff it. Now, you get a little yeasty aroma from this.
I get a little in the bag just from sniffing it. I have no capacity for anything.
Pull air in when you put a little in your palate.
I have terrible news for you.
Yes.
It's Manischewitz.
To prove a point, that was a European Sauterne.
It was very, very good.
Now,
tasty little number it was.
This particular wine I'm very proud of. I'm waiting for you to ask why.
Oh, why is that?
Oh, that's the Sauterne that I made.
Oh, it is?
Mogan David Sauterne.
I'm going to still taste the other one. It's good. It's all right. Very nice.
Now, you notice in the tasting, this was the driest. This was a little bit sweeter. Now we're going to jump into something that is...
I'm going to really jump
sweeter.
if I have much more of it. Oh. No, really, I have as light a head as it's possible to... yeah. Are we still standing here on a television show?
Oh, we have a long way to go yet. We have 12 more wines to go.
Oh, you're kidding.
Oh, sure.
Joking, of course.
No.
Why didn't we do this at the end of the show in case I don't survive it?
Now, this is another remarkable product. This is a Catawba wine.
I like Catawba, but it's a little on the sweet side.
That it is. This is about 10% in sugar. It's the Catawba grape is actually a pink grape.
And yet the wine is white.
Well, it depends on how it's pressed. If you apply very little heat at the time of pressing, the juice will come out a little pink. Upon fermentation, all the tissues will break down and it will end up white.
No.
That's where the science of wine is. It's not very good to gargle with them.
No, but it's good.
Now, the reason why...
We'll be sued by...
Yeah, so that was an odd little blip. So Ed Gogol used to work for Morgan David, the people who made MD 2020, one of the, or as we used to call it, Mad Dog 2020, fortified wine. Anyways, he was a really nice guy. He had a couple of films that he wanted me to transfer for him, and then he's like, I have no use for these. Do you want them? And I was saying, like, yeah, here. Yeah, there's a part 2 to that. If you want to see it, let me know and put it in the comments if you want to see the part 2 of the interview, the final part of the interview, and we can show it later today. Anyways, speaking of beverages that affect your nervous system, coffee. We love coffee, and you can certainly donate to AV Geeks. That's one way to support us. And our caffeine habit is to buy us some coffee. Also, you can hit like, subscribe, etc. Or go to avgeeks.com and see other things that we've digitized. Let's see, what do we got here? Let's learn about money and how its value changes. Thanks, courtesy of Cornet Films.
Men invented money to help them in their business of exchanging goods and services. Money serves as a useful middle step. You can exchange almost anything for money. And that money can be exchanged immediately or at a later time for almost anything else. This can be done over and over, as long as everyone who uses the money agrees on what it's worth. But if its value changes, then that causes problems. Why might the value of money change? Well, suppose there's a tape recorder you could buy for $100. What would $1 buy?
You can say that each one of your dollars can buy 1/100th of the recorder. But now, suppose the price of that recorder increases to $200. Now each dollar buys a smaller part of the recorder, only 1/200th of it. In effect, your dollar has gotten smaller. The dollar may look the same, but it has shrunk in value. Changing prices change the value of a dollar. If prices of items go up, the value of a dollar spent for these items goes down. Of course, the opposite is also true. What happens if prices go down? The value of each dollar spent for these items goes up with the decrease in prices. A dollar will buy more of each item if the prices keep going down. Now, if the prices of enough items go down, then what you can buy with a given amount of money changes. This means your money changes in value. There are ways of keeping track of this change in value of the dollar. One way economists do it is by selecting certain goods and services that an average city family buys. The changing prices of this market basket of items determines what is called the cost of living. Say that these items can be purchased for a certain amount of money. If the prices of these items overall go up, then the same amount of money can buy less of them. To buy the same amount of goods and services, you have to spend more dollars. The value of your money goes down. The cost of living goes up. On the other hand, if the prices of the items generally go down, then it takes less money than it did before to buy the same amount of goods and services. The value of your money goes up. The cost of living goes down. So changing prices affect the value of money. But what changes prices? Well, suppose a factory makes automobiles. It makes 5 cars and sends them to 5 car dealers. Each car is meant to sell for $2,000. And it just happens there are 5 people who want those cars. And each has the $2,000 to pay for a car. If these 5 people buy these 5 cars and pay their $2,000 each for them, there is no reason for the car dealers to change the prices. But suppose the factory keeps turning out automobiles. Suppose now that there are more cars than there are people who want them. Suppose the people who want the cars each have $2,000 to spend, and each car dealer would like to get $2,000 for his car. But even if each of these people buys a car, some of the dealers may be left with cars unsold. To make sure he sells all his cars, one dealer might drop his price a little. Other dealers, faced with the possibility of having no buyers, may also cut prices. In this way, overproduction can force prices down. If prices fall too low, manufacturers may reduce production and let some workers go. This may continue until production more nearly equals demand. There are less cars for sale. But laying off workers can cause other problems. One of the workers may not want to spend his money for a car now. Production again exceeds demand. So prices may continue to fall. If this is general throughout the economy, it is called a recession. If it continues long enough, with many factories slowing down or shutting down, with many workers laid off, you can have a depression. Now suppose just the opposite happens. Suppose the supply of cars drops. There might be a shortage of workers to make the cars, or a shortage of materials for them, or a war that demands workers and materials for other things. But the buyers are the same. Or suppose the supply stays the same, but advertising creates enormous consumer demands. Whatever the reason, now the supply is less than the demand. There are many buyers for the limited products. Prices don't have to be lowered to attract customers. In fact, prices might even be boosted slightly. And even if that discourages some customers, the car dealers can still sell all their cars. Another factor that affects the cost of goods is the supply of money. When credit is easy to get, when money is easily borrowed at low interest rates, when payments can be delayed on purchases, the supply of money increases. If it increases faster than the supply of goods, then prices tend to go up and up. Workers find they don't have enough income to buy all the goods and services they need. They demand higher wages, which might push up the cost of goods and services. If this condition of rising wages and prices is general throughout the economy, it's called inflation. If inflation goes on for an extended period of time, other problems develop. Think about a bank and the savings a person has there. Money carefully saved in an account begins to decrease in value as the prices of goods and services begin to rise. People on pensions and other kinds of fixed incomes can buy less for the same amount of money. In effect, the size of their check shrinks. It reduces in value, even though the amount is the same. People want the government to do something. But the problem, unfortunately, is that there is rarely clear agreement as to just what the government should do. The economic system is so complicated, no one is sure just what will happen when the government tries to make adjustments. But the problem is related to money, and some people think it is related quite simply to the amount of money available at any given time. Suppose this represents all the people in our country who need and want to purchase goods and services. And suppose this represents all goods and services available. The government may try to control the available money supply in order to regulate all these exchanges of goods and services. The government can reduce the amount of money in the public's hands by increasing taxes. People can still borrow money, but the Federal Reserve Board can increase interest rates. That might discourage some people. So there is less money for purchasing homes that take many years to pay for. There is less money available for loans to build homes, so the building trade suffers. There isn't money to expand and modernize factories. When that happens, additional jobs may not be created for young people. Measures to control inflation may help people on fixed incomes, but it may also harm business and industry and cause the laying off of workers. Economists, social scientists, politicians, each affected citizen has his own ideas of just what the best way is to maintain the value of money. But because no one is absolutely certain he really knows the right way, people in government tend to move cautiously to avoid upsetting the economy too seriously. Yet they all agree that the value of money is important, even though money has no use or value in itself, only in what can be bought with it. And what can be bought with it depends on what people agree among themselves it is worth. Of course, part of understanding how the value of money changes is based on understanding what money is. And that's another story.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting. Certainly, you know, don't want to soapbox here, but I feel pretty lucky growing up when I did, and living fairly thriftily. And I just don't know how the next generation is going to be able to cope. Like my nephew, the amount that it costs to go to college is outrageous compared to what I had to pay. The cost of a house is outrageous compared to when I first bought a house. You know, the house I bought was like $70,000. I mean, it was beat to hell, but now it's worth more than $300,000 just by me not burning it down. And just, yeah, it's got to be a lot harder now. For people. Food is very expensive here in Raleigh, and it doesn't really need to be. So anyways, yeah, money. Yes. So anyways, you guys wanted to see Ed Gogol Part 2. I think this is a continuation of the Dick Cavett interview, and then there might be a TV appearance on here as well. And his last name, I misspelled it initially. It's Gogel, and he actually has a couple of patents on making wine, probably making it quicker or faster or in bulk. So you can Google him, Google Gogol. Anyways, here is part 2 of Ed Gogol on Dick Cavett show, and then something else.
I think I've already blown that for you.
Oh, well.
Gee, I
don't know why they covered up all these labels.
don't either, because they're all similar.
David. Well, in the order of progression, as far as tasting, we tasted a dry white wine first.
Yeah.
Then we went up a little bit in sweetness.
That's right.
Until we hit the Catawba, which was the sweetest.
And I don't care. I feel wonderful.
Now we are going to taste the red wine. All right, now, you notice the reason why a red wine should always be tasted. There's a rule as far as tasting is concerned. White before red and
none before bed.
That's the best time.
Just made that up.
And then dry before sweet.
Dry before sweet. Okay.
Now, 20% wines are usually tasted sometimes prior to a dinner or after a dinner. It depends on whether they are dry or sweet. Now, can we clear our palate with a little water and a little cheese and a cracker?
We or me? I mean, should we both do it?
Surely.
How old is the cracker?
All right, now.
My palate is clear, but my sinuses are filling up.
Now we go into a nice sparkling red wine.
I'm just going to take a sip of this. Ready?
Ready. Now this is similar to a claret.
Yeah.
It's actually a dry red wine made from eastern grapes.
Yeah.
Majority of this wine is Concord.
I see.
And it's extremely dry.
Can you tell them, we've almost run out of time here, so I just ask you one question. Could you tell what these were without knowing? I mean, if I had the glasses all on.
Yes.
Could you really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very simply.
I think we are to the end of time. I'll find out in a moment, but we have a message. We'll be right back from our local station.
CBS News will bring you a special report on J. Edgar Hoover, tonight at 7:30, 6:30 Central on CBS.
Good evening. Bob McBride, TV2 News in Chicago. J. Edgar Hoover, the nation's #1 lawman. His death marks the end of an era, but he's remembered by Chicagoans. Details next on TV2 News at 6.
This is TV2 News at 6 with Bob McBride, Brent Musburger, John Coughlin, and Chicago's TV2 News team.
Man's first involvement with the grape probably came not long after his encounter with the apple, and that makes winemaking one of the oldest hobbies or professions in the world. Today, it's a $945 million industry in this country, and TV2's little old wine taster, John Esther, tells about it.
At Mogan David Winery in Chicago, where several million gallons are produced annually, the fact that fruit juices ferment to produce 16 wine varieties is no happy accident, but rather a deliberate act by this man, Ed Gogol, Mogan David's winemaker. At 43, Gogol is a member of a very select profession. There are fewer than 50 winemakers in all of the U.S. To Gogol, winemaking is an almost bewitching profession, whether at the winery or at home in Chicago's Beverly area, in Gogol's basement, where he pursues his hobby in what must be the ultimate in home wine cellars, an original redwood wine vat, 13 feet long, which Gogol cut down and carted from the winery. Here, he produces his own special vintage wines, bottles and stores it for special friends and occasions.
I enjoy making wine, and I try to experiment with various different things that really would not be commercially available for any production. Since I promulgate my own grapevines and grow them here in Illinois, I try to make unusual things that only my immediate family...
And then it just ends. So somebody pointed out in the comments that both of those pieces are called kinescopes. So that's essentially a way, before cheap videotape, that was a way that you could transfer video and distribute it. There were, at one point, there was more 16mm projectors around than there were video tape players, and videotape was very expensive. So what they would do is they would, for some broadcasts, they would basically aim a camera at a monitor that was kind of the output of the show that was being mixed live, and they would just record it. So the Dick Cavett show was probably something, so Ed Gogol probably paid, or Mogan David paid for his appearances, and they paid somebody to make the kinescopes for him. So I think in both instances it was probably color, but they probably only paid for a black and white image. So that's why it's black and white. All right, so I got one last film to show you, and this is part of this thing that we're doing. We earlier, well, I would say in the summer of last year, because it is a new year, the summer of last year, we got 14 pallets of film and film materials from the company that owns Coronet Educational Films. And so we've slowly been scanning the materials, and a lot of this is raw material, raw footage. And so this next film is raw, and you'll actually see the sprockets, so there's no soundtrack on there. And this is raw Kodachrome that was shot and edited. So this is basically what the edit would be for this film. I haven't actually compared it, because I don't know if I have a print of this film or not. to see shot for shot does it match up. But this is silent, and it is very crisp, beautiful color from Coronet. And I have probably thousands of these films that we're slowly going through. And so here is Ways to Good Habits. As a reminder, this is silent, but you get to see this beautiful raw footage. Sorry, you caught me eating my leftover taco. Anyways, yeah, so we have a lot of this footage, and we haven't found the soundtracks that sync up to them yet. So we'll kind of keep an eye out, and maybe if we find the match, we'll sync them up in the future. But yeah, I thought you might appreciate seeing kind of the raw, crisp Kodachrome footage. Really beautiful. But thanks so much for tuning in today. I will be back tomorrow, 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Watch some more films. If you like what you saw, again, you can subscribe, hit like or follow or notifications or whatever. You can also buy us coffee at avgeeks at this link that I'm pointing to right there. And then also avgeeks.com is a place you can go see other things that we've digitized, and we also have DVDs for sale. So everybody have a good rest of your day. As always, please rewind and love each other, and we will see you again soon. Take care, everybody.